Feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hello and welcome to the video wrap-up show for the Shrimp Tank podcast in Seattle. I'm Dan Whedon, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Linda Popke. Linda and I had a fascinating and fun conversation with my friend Steve Bean. Steve is a founding partner of True Benefits in Seattle. To catch the entire episode, and you should, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find every episode we've ever done in 6 years on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle.
So I've got a question for you, Steve. We talked a lot in the longer episode about what's going on now with the pandemic, etc. We hear about this great resignation phenomenon. What's the number one thing that you could just share with employers that they should do to help get through this and keep their businesses as vibrant as possible?
It's a real phenomenon, and certainly the statistics and the numbers are there. Millions and millions of people resigning, oftentimes without even the next job lined up. So in some cases, people are just making lifestyle choices or family choices. I think business owners and leaders and executives of nonprofits, really need to think about their organization, their culture. What's the storyline? If people are going to be joining the team, what makes this group unique? I know we speak in the longer podcast a little bit about the different generations and some of the different motivations that kind of span some of those generational differences, and how employers can think and speak to that and be very intentional about their storyline, the benefits that they offer, and really the broader picture is their people and culture, and what that means to the organization, and how they can make sure they've got the right people on their team for success.
Well, Steve, we also spoke on the podcast, and again, encourage everybody to go back and listen to the entire thing. Steve was great. We also talked on the podcast about the growing and accelerating virtual employee landscape. Not only the virtual employee who might live somewhere on the other side of the country, but also hybrid meetings and things like that. From an employee benefits perspective, what are you seeing that employers need to know about in working and trying to take care of their employees, both that they have in the office and that they have virtually?
Again, very good questions, Dan, and those are important things that leadership groups need to be having explicit discussions and conversations around, so that they can be intentional in their policies. Are we going to force people back to work? If so, how many days a week? Are we not? So again, as that pertains to not only the work to be done, but the teams that are generated, the culture that evolves, the opportunity for younger people to be mentored and to learn and to be brought in on projects, or simply the overhearing of conversations that can lead to really good career insights and other further opportunities. So how do we either replicate that, or how do we achieve some of those same desired goals and outcomes, maybe in different ways? I think one other aspect, or two other quick aspects to that virtual workforce. One is from simply a security, cybersecurity standpoint. When people are working from home, it's a lot harder. There's a lot more side doors that are potentially access for people to do bad things or disruptive things, and that's a bit of a challenge. And secondarily, from an employment law standpoint, payroll, regional rules and requirements. If an employer, say for example, has been based in the Puget Sound for some long time, and now they've got folks operating out of California or Massachusetts, New York, some of the other environments that have maybe more complexities simply around employee-employer dynamics and regulations, the employers need to be very, again, thoughtful and make sure that they're compliant and up to speed, and that they're not caught on the back, kind of on the back foot. When somebody says, "Hey, I just moved to Boston, what's this mean?" We make sure that they're on the front end of that conversation.
That's very helpful, Steve. And I do encourage everyone to listen to the full podcast to hear more of what Steve's talking about. Steve, thank you so much for being a guest here on Shrimp Tank Seattle. For those listeners who want to get in touch with you, find out more about your company, where should they go?
Website's always a good starting place, truebenefits.net. And you can find me also on LinkedIn.
Okay, well, thank you, Steve. And make sure you check out all the replays on shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle, wherever you get your podcast, iHeart, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever we are ubiquitous. And please follow us also on our show's social media pages on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Well, Steve, thank you for joining us. Linda, as always, thank you. Everyone, yes, jump on the Facebook page, like us, because that's where we do our live streams. We come to you every week at 12 p.m. Pacific and live stream from our Facebook page. Our next guest will be Andrea Houston from Artitudes Design. Until we see you again, please be healthy, be prosperous, and of course, have fun. Because for right now, the shrimp is back in the tank. So long.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.